Hello and welcome to AlleyOop. I'm calling this AlleyOop, a FlourSac jump. Okay, so let's dive in here. Let me stop that. We're getting a little laggy there. Alright, so when you open up the scene, you're going to just find 4 jumps. Okay, and again, this isn't looping actually because he's doing 360s too, so the character is 360 and has to remain at 360 and then go to 720 and so on and so on. So it's copy and pasted and the character is rotated each time. Now each jump is exactly the same at default when you open this up. So what I want you to do, oh, and I should have opened up the example. Let's see if we can find that. There it is. That's what happens when you name something appropriately. You can find it easier. So let me just play the example. So when you're done with it, I'd like it to look something not exactly like this, but something like this. So you can leave the first jump at default, just maybe as a frame of reference. And then the second jump in red, where his color changes to red, go extreme. Pop that thing up. Woo! And have a lot of fun with it, alright? Second one in yellow, now go subtle. So go broad, go subtle, and then the third one, get creative, okay? So extreme, whoop, subtle, whoa, and then a little skip off, and drop. Animation hasn't changed, and that's the idea here. I don't want you reanimating this thing. I want you reanimating it just in a way that says, okay, how do I push this thing one way or the other? So close up and look at one jump. So I'll do a little bit and give you guys a few ideas. So here's where he's going to be broad. Okay, so I'll go to that key, starting key, and then you're going to see it's a jump. And he's going to first anticipate and pause, and then you'll see him basically have a take where he's, pausing and looking at something, which is the missile zooming in, and now he's going to have a reaction to take where he anticipates up, squashes down, and then pushes off to jump, and does a 360, stretches in, squashes, bounces, and settles in there. Okay. And it goes on and on. Same thing. So it's all up to you. You want to go broad, obviously. Maybe go higher with the jump. So you want to push the amount of squash and stretch, right? And even the timing's up for grab. You guys can break this down a little bit more. You can slow in a little bit more. I don't really want you to reanimate it. Kind of work within the framework of what's been established, and actually try and make it work with the timing of the what are we calling this thing? Ship. It's not a ship, it's a missile. There you go. You can change the timing if need be, but I want you to really focus on driving this guy and having fun with this guy. You can squash and stretch him, as you can see, just by translating the controls. He's just basically a pretty simple rig. The idea with the FlourSac was, back in Disney we would even train with a FlourSac, where before you got into complicated character animation you would just animate something like a FlourSac, because you could think about the performance much like a human performance, and it's very organic, not to mention it's very easy to draw a FlourSac. So for those of you who want to practice any kind of 2D skills, that's what I would suggest too. Try something like this. This is a pretty simple rig too, and it is a lot less complicated than a character rig, so it's another good training tool within Maya anyhow. Much simpler rig too. You can think of his spines, obviously, as a normal spine. His hip obviously is a normal hip too, and he's got little ears which can translate and rotate too. His feet control, since he doesn't really have feet, you're not going to see any kind of foot rolls or anything like that in. It's just either on the ground or not, okay? Or rotated or not. Alright, so if you're really going to push this guy, exaggerate it, one thing you could think about doing, you can change everything as far as even the anticipation and the wind up here, to even how much he comes up and squashes down here. This happens pretty quick in one pose. You might find that the geometry once in a while sticks. It's an older file on an older rig, so I think the weighting on the rig kind of gets laggy once in a while, it won't break your rig. It'll just preview like that. Just turn around and grab that foot control and move it, and you'll see it snaps right back. As long as you don't have your auto key on, you're safe, so be careful about that too. But as soon as you kind of prod it, it will let go. It won't break your rig, okay guys? So try and ignore that if that's happening in your scene, okay? So things you can do. Obviously pushing poses, right? In this case too, if I want this pose to come up higher, my peak, you know, I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to obviously switch back my auto key here, and I can start right there and just saying, you know, maybe this, and use your shot camera. Keep that in mind. You're going to be staging this in the shot camera. So maybe my character comes all the way up to there, but now I have to work through that, right? Pop. Maybe he flies way up and high here. Bang, bang. And I don't want him to start falling yet, so again, just tapping through. And then I want a big stretch, and even here I'm going to stretch him out. He has a squash and stretch control in his hip too. You can kind of make him thinner or fatter, so that will kind of help you push the idea when you're stretching him. In this case, I'm going to actually straighten all this out and really kind of push the stretch in here just to have fun with it. See how far I can take it. Boom, boom, boom. It's kind of fun to leave the tips of the, you know, of the, what you call it, back where they were. And boom. So just play around and get used to the idea of timing and spacing and use of exaggeration. He's going to pop too fast out there, and now I can kind of break that down more if I want, or I could rethink the timing. Actually, I want to get more pull out of here, so I'm going to think about that arc a little bit more. Stage it for the camera. Pull it a little bit more. Can I get a little bit more out of the legs too? My foot is sticking again, so we'll get that guy to ignore it again. Pop. Pop. He pops a little bit too quickly through here. That's a big jump. Sometimes scrubbing through can help you figure out whether you need an extra frame, and maybe I'll throw an extra frame into there. And again, trying to figure out where there is a little pause after he lands, so I can always steal a couple of frames after that. Boom, boom. And I'll take all that and just walk that down, but maybe I should make sure I've selected my whole character first, okay? By that time, he probably needs to start slowing down a little anyhow. Okay, that helped a little bit. Again, when you're increasing your spacing, you're going to have to adjust your timing, or get very... the other thing you can obviously do is try and fill up your spacing. And the thing is, he gets kind of ball-like here. If I really want to fill this up, maybe I could keep him more stretched through here, which would give him a larger presence and fill up the arc a little bit. Oops, I forgot to put my... I'll make sure that all gets keyed. The more I keep them open here, the more I can kind of fill this up. Boom, boom. And I can even look to see, can I stage this a little bit better? I've got that rotate. Once you change your timing to, the rotate changes a bit. I want to push out. check that. Just be a little slower to keep him more pushing out that way. And then he starts to go. Kind of ignore that foot again until I get to it. And slow that all down, and maybe I get faster through here. And then I'll really zip them through there and slow them in. Boing. There we go. Also, if I'm going to throw them up that high, I don't want them to come down that soon too. So I'm going to look at pushing that hang time. I think you'll see in the example I've included and showed you that I kind of like to have a little fun, especially if I'm going cartoony, major cartoony, with the idea of that hang time and even in anticipating and then falling again. So if I'm going to slow into here, again, maybe I want more time. Let me even do that first, and then I will. So I'm going to steal again a little bit of time from here. I'm going to slow in. Or maybe before he falls, I'll just move this timing here, which will again give me a little bit. Kind of like the idea of him turning like that quicker while he's up there. So I'm going to take this pose and I'm going to hold it up here. And I'm going to pull him back a little here and fall and then hit. And then I'm going to have that happen quicker like that. And I'm going to key that all. Boom. So it flips and then he falls. Okay. There we go. So I got a little hang time up there, and then I got a quicker flip, and then the fall. And then even here I got that flip. Kind of even want to push that more. I got a flip, and I might even do it again before he starts to fall. And I kind of want to open him up a little bit, because the head kind of stays. It's kind of nice that it comes down. But maybe it's a little bit, maybe he shouldn't come down quite that low yet. So I'll pull this up. And then maybe this could be broken down a little different, where these guys can open up. Oh, well, I guess I need to key that first, right? Let's make that a key. I'm going to drive that whole thing. Open up these guys. Might need to change the timing a little. I might need an extra frame there. And we'll do that. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Let's do that, and I'm going to see what's going on in the hips with that rotate. Might be a little wobbling going on there, and it is, so I'm just going to drive this straighter. Boom, boom. Let me do that. Yeah, again, I want that pointed back. This guy could point back if I needed him to. There we go. Like when things fall in line better. Anyhow, there we go. Boom. Alright. So don't get too much into, like, you know, creating new animation. Use what's there and push what's there and embellish what's there. You know, it's always fun, like I said, to kind of pause something and break something down so that cadence is a little different. So there's a pause here instead of there, and then there's an anticipation on top of it. The pause that gets him out of that pause. You know, that's what I like to do in here. Like even this, there could be a slight anticipation here. Even just with something simple like the feet, you know, I could turn around and take the feet and kind of have fun with the feet where they turn up and pull out a little bit. And maybe even the hips are pulling up a bit like that. Where of course I've got to squash him down more. Maybe his head does something else like that. So then maybe I get boom before he falls. And I might take that just so I can feel it a little bit and give it a couple of frames to do that and then fall. Alright guys, so have fun. Give me the 2 versions I've asked for, and then give me one that you want to do yourself. Okay. Let's even scrub through this a little bit quicker. Let's see what I did here. I really wung him out of here. You see that? In one frame I've gone from there to there. But then I have a lot of time here for us to pick it up. And that's the idea too, what you want to have fun with your animation. Is like if you have your audience's eye kind of tracking something, you can pop it over there. As long as somebody's eyes and head is heading in that direction, we'll catch it up. And then if you make sure that you have enough time here and it stays in arc and it ends up where it's supposed to be, our viewer will catch it and see it kind of pause, and you know, we'll be right where we need to be, even if you pop that thing out of there so darn quick. Okay, nice little fun. I really pushed the stretch there. Look at that, badoing, and a nice good bounce on that too. And even here, I kind of threw a little pause in before he then stands up. And this one, to make him feel a little heavier, it's all there, but it's like, oh. So the timing's a little slower. I've obviously pushed back on that, on everything as far as the spacing and all. Reworked the timing a bit. This one, again, same basic idea. Again, same sad little jump. That's just not quite high enough. Even here you can see I kind of have him kind of staying low. And I'm just using those same poses. And to get a nice little skip, I pop him out of there. And then I return to the animation. Okay, guys? So have at it. Have fun. Get creative. Go broad. Go subtle. And then go crazy. All right? I will see you guys the next time I see you. All right? Bye-bye.